Bilirakis, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate it. I want to thank the panel for being here as well today. I'm the former chairman, as is Ms. Brooks as well, of the Subcommittee on Emergency Preparedness, Response, and Communications under the Homeland Security Committee, so we really are interested in this subject. Ms. Fogarty, can you briefly explain the particular benefits of the next generation 911 for the blind, deaf, visually impaired, hearing impaired, that are not currently available through the analog 911 services?
That's an incredibly important question, Mr. Bilirakis, and I really appreciate your bringing it up. In the United States today, there are more than 38 million, I believe, deaf, hard of hearing, or speech-impaired individuals. Historically, their access to emergency communications was greatly restricted by limitations of networks and systems. It was only after the federal government mandated that TTY technology, the ability to type characters over the telephone line using analog tones, only after that was required that service became available over 911. The great thing is, if you look at the work that our standards developers did with NG911, they baked those functionalities in deeply into NG911. Support not only for message-based text, but for real-time text, character by character that has the same conversational flow as a TTY. The ability to do multi-party video calling, so you can have a sign language interpreter available so that you can do things like interact with someone who is blind and sort of see, be their eyes for them if need be. All of those things are natively supported in NG911. And from the standpoint of the PSAP community, it makes it far easier for our members to provide service to these more vulnerable aspects of our population in the ways that they communicate already. And that's a key thing, is we want to make 911 service available to people in the way that they're used to communicating. It shouldn't be some rare oddball thing. It should just happen the way you do it every day. And that's very important to us.
Very good. My district represents a significantly large population in the Tampa Bay area of seniors as compared to most congressional districts. What benefits do the next generation 911 provide for our nation's seniors who are most likely to request emergency call centers and need emergency services?
So I'll point to two things in particular. Contrary to some, media characterizations, senior Americans are some of the fastest technology adopters. They actually end up using video calling and text messaging just as quickly as the average teenagers do, and love the technology. I mean, video calling with your grandmother is now, a common everyday thing. So these technologies will benefit seniors. The other thing that was mentioned before is the Internet of Things. We're seeing a phenomenal growth in new wearable technologies that principally focus on health and security. I mean, these are things that Americans care about and that our innovators are building products for. As that happens, as more of those things come online and as we get used to them in the 911 community, I think there's going to come a point where, because the standards allow for it, we're going to start to see alerts coming in from those things so that we can respond and so that we can know, for example, and this is a big NG911 feature, if a consumer wants to make health data available when they call 911, something like, hey, I'm a diabetic, hey, I'm a hemophiliac, I have a heart condition, whatever that is, they can do that securely through a trusted third party. They don't have to share their data with the government up front. And that makes it much easier for responders in the field to provide good service.
Very good. Anyone else want to respond to this subject matter, whether it's disabled in general, senior population, what have you? Anyone else want to?
Could I just?
Yeah, please, go ahead. Yes.
I think another benefit is, as we do have an aging population and want to live at home, right? Added to the medical information that they can personalize and send to 911 and the first responders is also the ability to notify a third party if they wanted to. So you say, my parents, if they were living, they dialed 911, I could know they had called, and they could set that up and pre-plan. So, and once again, the next generation technology affords so much added benefit in data.
Is that technology available currently?
Yes, sir, it is.
Oh, great. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. So as Trey had indicated, it's the ability, if you choose to share the information with first responders, we can arm them as they're en route to know that I have medical emergencies or that, I have a third party to be notified. And that would help them as they are also trying to find loved ones and notify them.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Anyone else? Yes, please.
I did. Thank you. Healthcare is changing in the United States of America, legislation aside. There are technologies presently available and on the horizon that will allow and mandate that healthcare of the future is as different in the future as 911 will be different in the future. It is incredibly important that as that technology advances for all segments of our population, that they can take full advantage of that technology when they need to call 911. Whether it's body-worn technology, whether it's pre-entered profile technology, whether it's medication technology, whatever it may be, but the next generation of 911, when deployed, will be able to communicate that both to the first responders that we spoke about earlier through the FirstNet network, but also to the hospital staff, so that when a patient arrives at the hospital, there are many things about that patient that will already be known by the attending people in the ER. Very, very important.
Very good. Thank you very much. I yield back, Madam Chair.
Gentleman's time has expired.